Hello. I'm going to
Hello.
pause. Hello and welcome to Ancient Voice Rising. I'm Hera Dyani, and today we are with Miss Shey Zenker and Brianne Schultz. Brianne is with Divine Numbers by Brianne, and Shey is a Master Numerologist, and she is with Numbers by Shey. Hello and welcome to my podcast.
Thank you.
Both. How are you doing, Miss Shea?
Good.
Good.
Trying to stay warm in the north.
Well, it's funny. Yesterday we had 80-degree weather here in Florida, and this morning we woke up to 29 degrees.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's flip-flops with sock season.
Yeah, but you'll go back up fast.
We do.
It'll,
We
yeah.
fluctuate so much. I've only been in Florida since March, from North Carolina, and the weather is it's so different. So different. How are you doing, Brianne?
I'm great.
Good, good, good. And where are you? Are you north too?
I'm actually also in Florida. I'm south of you.
Are you really?
I'm a little bit south of Sarasota on the
Okay.
Gulf Coast and
Oh,
dealing with a little cold snap myself, but not as cold as what you have.
yeah, I'm in Jacksonville, so it's it's a whole different ball game here.
I love it. I can't survive in the north anymore. I don't think I was ever meant to be there, really. The
I
cold
don't
and I are not friends.
Yeah, I don't like the cold as well. I'm a flip-flop and dress girl, sundresses and yeah. So even in North Carolina, I would just put socks on and my flip-flops and walk around. People would look at me, I'm like, I don't know. Anyway, Miss Shea, let's start with you today and tell us a little bit about yourself and how you became a numerologist or how you stepped into numerology.
Okay. Well, I'll be happy to do that. That happened 30 years ago when Brian was 16. So she literally has grown up with the language that we speak based on numerology. So it all started during a turning point in our lives when I separated from her dad and we divorced. And Brian was 16 and her sister Carrie was 12. And I am a product of the 50s. And that means that I inherited a lot of expectations for women from those days, that you were going to get married, you were going to have the mortgage. We did. We had the house. We had the house on the lake. We both had jobs. We did what was expected. And when I left her dad, I knew that I needed to leave who I was in that role and all those roles that were expected. I needed to leave that behind, but I didn't know where to go. I didn't know how to find myself.
Mm.
And I'm not sure that there was ever a time when I knew who I was. I just did what I was told and what was expected of me. And that's what most women did in that time period, and then passed that on to me, then to the next generation, the next generation. Well, I decided that it was time for me to find who I was. Who is this person starting this new life? And I
Mhm.
had no idea where to look. And I had a couple of numerology books that were laying around for a couple of years. It didn't make any sense to me. And math. I mean, I can't
Yeah.
for a numerologist, I can't do math. And numbers, numerology has nothing to do, very little to do with math anyway. So I
Okay.
started looking more deeply into numerology. And I, of course, did my name and I did my birth date and I did the girls, and I did my family, and I did my friends, and it all fit so well. It was amazing for them. But I did not resonate with my numbers at all.
Oh,
Now,
wow.
I was like, well, why do I feel like I'm being introduced to my daughters for the first time? It just makes so much sense why they are the way they are, and the qualities that they have, and so why they're so different from each other. I mean, it was like painting a picture of them, but I painted a picture of someone with my numbers that I didn't know.
Mm,
And then I found also
interesting.
Chinese astrology books,
Wow.
and their signs fit them. Brienne she's on a cusp of goat and monkey. Carrie is a pig. I am a horse. I'm like, okay, great. We've got the animals down, and they did fit the girls. But again, I'm like, I don't have those qualities. Is this information messed up, but yet it fits them? No, the truth is that I was so far off, so far lost in
Mm,
my own authentic nature that I hadn't found those qualities within myself yet. And that's where I started. I started looking for those. And I looked at my life path, and I started saying, yeah, okay, maybe there is some of that in me. And I looked at the year of the horse, and horses are outrageous. They're outspoken. They're extroverts. I'm like, is that in there? I don't know, but here
yeah.
are my girls and my friends and everybody, it just fits them. So shorten this up a little bit. I started learning more and more, and I started receiving that, pulling that energy out from within me more and more. And I got stronger, and I got more confident. And I found the person that had been stifled for so many years, and
Mm,
started speaking the language of numerology. And then I said, if I can do this for me, I can help people who are confused about their own true nature. And then, of course, I got into the personal years and the cycles and the periods and the pinnacles. And the more I went deeper and deeper, and I got more and more excited. And I realized that the cycle that I was in made so much sense as far as what was going on with me. And so I got into that part of it. And I just kept falling deeper and deeper into it, and it became a passion. And then it became a contribution, and then it became business,
yeah.
and then it was a lifelong passion. And so Brienne had no choice. She had no choice but to grow up with the numbers, because it was all about, well, this is your personal year, and this is your life path, and I'll hand this back to you, to Brienne, but it and she can talk more about this, but she actually, when her time came to have her children, named them according to the numbers that
Oh my gosh.
she wanted in their characters. So that's where it started. And now I do my daily post on Facebook, and that's all I do anymore. I have retired from doing private readings, handed it over to my fully capable, qualified daughter, who's added her own elements even above and beyond what I have been able to do. But now I do my daily numbers, kind of horoscope, and just enjoy the interaction that I get from people around the world to what I put out there.
And I have to say, from one of those people that have followed you for years, and have looked to your posts for guidance, um, it has been eye-opening for sure. Um, and so I wanted to take a second and say thank you. I am extremely grateful. I have been on quite a journey, and I'm going through that generational um, divorce next year, and finding that ancient voice that has been rising within me.
Yeah.
And you have been one of my mentors for years now. And I have actually had a lot of my followers come over to your page
Okay.
because I kept posting your stuff because I'm like, you guys got to see this. Like I mean, it is right here in our face.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Numbers are a good, they're science and they're absolutely the framework of our very existence. We can bring it down to numbers, but it's also what you bring to them and how you interpret them. So I always say that numerology is a metaphysical science, but the interpretation of it and the learning of the language, that's the art.
Yes,
And that's why I can bill myself as a master numerologist because I have applied every bit of my life experience, and it has been a lot. Like everyone, I have applied that, turned that experience into wisdom and used the numbers to share that wisdom with others.
absolutely. Absolutely beautiful. And you do it so eloquently. It's
Thank
so
you.
beautiful. Yeah, I was gonna. I know eventually. I want to get a reading from Brianne, um, because I do feel like there are a few um, gates that I'm um, or I call them puzzle pieces within my physical structure and my energetic structure that need to finally click in. And like I've been on my year of the 13th this year. And I wanted to ask you, um, in numerology, we're on the year of 9, right? And so next year we go into tens.
One, we
One.
start over.
We start over at 1.
Right,
Okay. So
right.
how does one understand, and you don't have to, I mean, I'm not asking you to read me or anything like that, but just for viewers that are going through some of the same things, because I do see this a lot. um how do you how do you go from like your year, like, so like this year is my 13th year, and then I'll be going into the 14th. How does that coincide with the year of going into the year of the 1? I don't know how to. So it's been something that I have um, struggled with understanding or trying to put a perspective on. Um, what does that? How would you explain something like that?
Well, I'm actually a little confused about your 13th year. Do you mean because what you'll do to find your personal year is add your birth month plus your birthday.
Well, I'm a master number 11, and my path is number 5.
Okay, so when is your month and day of birth?
Oh, May 31st, 1973.
Okay, so yeah, you're in a 4 personal year. So it doesn't go up into the teens, it goes
Okay.
from 1 to 9. So you're in a 4 personal year now, but that is going to change in 2 days.
Yes.
You are going to be going into a 5 personal year in the 9-year cycle.
Oh,
And with a 1 universal year, global year, and your 5 personal year, you will be liberated from an old way of being. It's about freedom, it's about expansion, it is release, it's being able to breathe freely. Opportunities will open up, moves will happen. Number 5 is a mover and a shaker. And when
uh,
you combine that with the 1, change is inevitable for you.
I can already feel that my nervous system has completely calmed. Um, and I can feel the momentum starting to build within myself, and allowing myself to be open which I've always been that person that, they go, oh, she needs a filter. That's what everyone has always told me my whole life. She needs a filter. And I'm like, you're not going to filter me. Like, I'm going to be who I am. I'm going to say it. I'm going to try to the best of my abilities to be it and speak it with grace and compassion. It doesn't always come out that way, but a free flower.
You almost sound like a horse to me. What I think would be beneficial to explain how to give you a more concise idea of how it works is to actually talk to Brianne about
Yes.
the chart she uses in her readings,
Okay.
because there isn't a person on the planet who wouldn't benefit from a numerology reading, but Brianne has a
I agree.
special format that she uses that is very different. Get you to the same destination, but it's a very different path. And she has a really unique way of explaining how that year works with who you are, your life path numbers. So if you
Okay.
want to take this time to have Brianne fine tune.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, I've been so waiting to speak to you, Miss Brianne. Welcome to the show. And let's just start out. We'll bookmark this and let's just have you tell us a little bit about yourself and how, you followed your mom and how you got into what you're doing.
Sure. So as my mom said, this kind of came into form when I was 16. I was kind of already on my own spiritual path at that point. I had been raised Methodist, so I'd been to church when I was young. We had kind of followed the guidelines of the family. But I started to branch out a little bit when I got into my teen years. I was very interested in the tarot. I was very interested in Wicca. I started to
Yeah.
kind of search and kind of look at alternate options. And my mom was supportive, which, as a teenager doesn't always happen. So it was really nice to have that support. She's like, if you're interested in this, here's some books. Here's where you can find more insight into these options.
Right.
And then after I had kind of started opening my mind to these other spiritual paths, then she got into numerology, and the floodgates just wide open for our family. And it was a daily language that was being spoken. She did get into tarot. She utilized tarot in her readings as well. So she was teaching
Yeah.
herself about numerology, teaching herself about tarot, teaching herself about Chinese astrology. And as she was learning, she was practicing on all of us. And so whether we wanted to learn about ourselves and each other or not, it was being given to us
Yeah.
regularly. Um, and and it was interesting because I remember we've always been close. My mom, my sister, and I, very close, always communicating, never a secret. And
Right.
so we would go for walks, and I'm 16. I wanted to talk about the cute boys in school or the mean girls and what was happening with the cliques and, being a normal teenager. And my mom wanted to talk about spiritual endeavors and being attuned and enlightened and getting to the next level. And I remember very clearly, and I talk about this a lot, walking down the street with her and looking and just saying, Mom, can't a tree just be a tree? Does it always have to mean more? And she's like, can't just be a tree. There's always more to the story. There's always more to unfold. There's always more treasures to discover. And it was frustrating sometimes as a teenager to be like, can we just live here?
Yeah.
And and so here we are 30 years later, and I have two young children. They're 9 and almost 11. And a tree is never just a tree. My kids know their signs. They call it their spirit animals. They know what they are. They know their numbers. As my mom mentioned, I named them based on some of the numerology opportunities that were available. I wanted them to have specific numbers, energies accessed in their charts. One of them being the 6, the number of love and responsibility and nurturing. And I want them to always love their mama and always have a sense of home. So I gifted them with that and myself. So being able to speak the language is very helpful because we do have some free will and we are then able to access these different pieces of ourselves, um, for both positive and negative. And there have been times in my life where I've bucked some of my numbers. I have a karmic debt 13-4 in my birth date. And that 13-4 is the number that makes you bang your head against the wall. It can be very limiting, very frustrating. I have a pet name for this number, which I won't say because it's very naughty.
Yeah.
I usually say it. I'm a little naughty. So anyway, the 13-4, I have had to transition my own perspective and realize the gifts that are within that. And so even numbers that are considered karmic debts, I now can find the gifts in and share those with others that have a karmic debt, that they don't have to be feeling like they're tethered or like they have something negative that they have to overcome. It's just simply that our souls knew that we could handle what we came here to learn.
Uh-huh.
And so we have additional opportunities to walk through. And it's because of my 13-4 that I am so strong and stubborn, and that honesty and integrity are so important to me, and that I am able to communicate as effectively as I can and to understand and be as empathetic as I can be.
Mm.
Frustrating at times, absolutely.
Mm.
But is it a gift from inside? Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So
Wow.
that my mother has spoken this wisdom into me for 30 years, and I got a little bit more on me than she thought. So, so now I'm able to share it with others because it's truly a language.
Yes, it is. I have never I've looked up, different numbers and what they mean, and but to really try to conceptualize them without having that knowledge of what you guys carry, um is, been a challenge. Um so when I started seeing you come into your mom's page and started seeing what you were saying and what you were placing in there, and then discovering your page, and then the algorithm started, and I started seeing your post, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. Like, this is so beautiful, and so it just flows. It just makes sense. Not a lot of things in our world make sense,
True.
but it just clicked. It started making sense, on a deeper level. Um,
It's helpful to have the information so that you know how to work with the energies. They're happening around us and through us anyway. So
mhm.
being able to access them with intention can be a huge gift. And I didn't start doing this professionally until just over a year ago. I
Right.
haven't been doing this for very long because I always saw it as my mom's thing. She was the master. And if I need my numbers done, I can go to the master.
Right.
So it was like, if anyone needs this done, I'll send them to the master. I didn't, even though it's a language that I spoke, I didn't see it as being mine to share.
Okay.
And then one day, just like about a year and a half ago, I was told by a very spiritually connected friend, thank you, Krista, that she said she was given a message from spirit and did I want it? And I thought, who says no to that?
Right.
So I said, absolutely, I want it. And she said she had been told that I was supposed to do what my mom does. I was supposed to share the gift of numerology. And I was like, it was so crazy because it was right there the whole time that of course I should share this. Why would I keep it to myself? My mom had retired. She wasn't doing personal readings anymore. And I still was just like, no, no, this thing that I've known for most of my life, that I speak every day, that I use every day in my life, I'm going to just keep it to myself. It seemed silly as soon as she said it. So I
Yeah.
went to my mom and I said, what would you think of this? Because of course she's the master numerologist. I'm not going to just assume I can walk in and take over this legacy. Um, and she started crying and I started crying and we were like, Okay, I think that this is a good indication this needs to happen. But
Yeah.
I'm
It was
a
good
full-time
crying.
single.
It wasn't
Yeah.
unhappy crying. It was, I can't believe she's actually going to do this. My work is not going to die with me. It's
Right.
going to be passed on through my daughter and hopefully her daughter
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Yeah.
son.
I understand it. My daughter, in the beginning, we were born with the gift of seeing spirit and down into the layers of the earth and different realms in the cosmos, and how to navigate and shapeshift to go into different realms, and pull parallel realities in and to kind of flip paradoxes and stuff like that. Um, she can see all the way straight down through the core of the earth, into the core of the earth, and actually tell you what is layer by layer, visually and intuitively. But she got scared and put her hands up and said, "No, I can't. I can't do this." And so now it's gotten to a point where it had gotten to a point where now I couldn't take her on the visit. I was taking her on the visits with me, helping people understand darker energies, lighter energies, and how that, they're all connected, and how they come, frequencies and stuff like that, and how to clean someone's home, and to help them energetically. And we had one case and she got really scared, and since then, she's been wanting to do it her way, which has been hands up, I'm not doing it. And so I've had to really pull back and let go and go, okay, she's got her own path. She's got her own journey. She has the gifts. They're there because one night she saw shadows coming up over her bed. There were three of them. And she just looked up at them and she threw glass up and they smashed into the glass and she watched them. She says, "It was mom. It's like, when I go to give blood," she's like, "I like to watch." She's like, "I just watched and laughed." And I was like, and so I get it. You want that. I want that legacy to continue with all the work that I've been doing over the years, with the communities and individuals. I completely understand this. This hits so hard right here.
Well, when the time is right, if the time is right and it's what she's called to do, it will happen whether she's expecting or planning to do it or not. Because at first, I didn't know how I was going to step into this position.
Yeah.
I'm a full-time single mom. I have both my kids. I homeschool them. And I was running my own store as a sole owner and sole worker at a boutique. So fitting in being a numerologist was a
Yeah.
little bit like, okay, I'm supposed to be doing this, but when and how? And 2 days later, I was in a car accident. And at the point of impact that totaled my car, and I was fairly injured, but the point of impact, I heard very clearly the word open. And that was what set me on the path of doing this, and bringing it into form. I just closed my store down. I sold it. It's still
Oh,
running and it's doing an amazing job. That legacy's carried on.
there you go.
It opened up the freedom and flexibility for the next adventures and for me being available to share this information with others. So you don't have to know how, and you don't necessarily have to know when, just being open, and the time will be right at some point for her, and
Yeah.
then she'll make a decision that if she wants to step forward or not. But my mom never was like, you need to take on the family business. It was more like, do you think that I'm ready?
Yeah. Yeah. I was pushy there for a little while because I was like, you have so much, and then it got to the point where it's like, well, maybe she thinks that she's stepping into to a pair of shoes that may be too big for her yet. Maybe she's having that contemplation of, you know, do I want to, how do I want to transition into maybe this, because it's there and it's in her face. But I really, like, over the past 5 years, I've pulled back and said, you know what? My shoes are my shoes. And if you ever decide you don't want to step in this with me or carry it on, then that is your journey, that is your choice, that is your path. I will not push you, you know. Um, so this was interesting when you came into the picture, and I saw you on Shey's page. I was like, wait, what? Okay, I think my daughter even secretly follows Miss Shey.
She has
We
a lot
won't
of
tell anybody. I won't go looking for her. I have a lot of lurkers, a lot of people who want the information and don't click, and I don't care.
Yeah.
I just want it to be out there and available for those people who need it. And if I don't put a post, that didn't come up right. If I don't put a post out, it's very gratifying to me that people will come looking for me
Oh,
and
yeah.
say, "Where's the post for today? I don't know how to function." I'm like, I get it. I use the numbers every single day. Like Brianne said, we don't they're like guides. You just use them as guides.
Yeah.
They're suggestions. Like, okay, this is the energy. You can work against it if you want to. If you know what it is, you have the choice. You don't have to play,
Yeah.
but it's a lot easier if you do.
So let me ask you both got a question, and then I want to jump back into what me and your mom were talking about with the year of the five for me and all of that. Um, well, I just lost the question. So let's just jump into that, because just repeat what you just said.
That I have the information out there available for people if they want it, and they will come to find me.
Yes.
I'll get comments. Where's the post for today? I didn't see your post. So it's
You can
very
work with
gratifying that they care.
you can work with the energies, or you can
You
try to
can.
be stubborn and ignore the energies. I like to say you can go easy or you can go hard, but the day
Yes.
is going to do what the day does.
Yes. Okay. So have you guys found that when you're using the numbers and you're working with the numbers, do you get um, colors and even smells or tastes or sensations when you use the numbers in your both different ways?
Brian's son does.
Okay.
Um, I'm pretty literal.
Okay.
Um, and the way that I'm self-taught is I'll follow the path. That's just my nature.
Okay.
But I know that Avian sees this, but you'll have to speak to that,
Yes.
B.
Yes, please.
Something that I don't only offer numerology on my page, I also offer divine alignment sessions, which I consider them to be Reiki infused sessions,
Okay.
but they are very intuitively guided. And I will connect with the energy bodies of the individuals that I'm working with. And I see colors always when I'm in one of those sessions.
Mm.
So if I were to meditate on the energies of the numbers, I would see colors. I tend to use it more as a language. So
Okay.
when you're looking at numerology from the way that we do these readings, it's like learning about your skeletal system, right? It's like who's at the core of who you are. What are the opportunities, the experiences that life is giving you that you can walk through? But then but then you fill in, right? There's so
Yeah.
much more. So you're learning the truth of who you are and what's available to you, but then you decide how that's going to show up, how you're
Mm,
going to access those gifts. And there's so much more you can expand upon. And so the numbers are the language typically that I'll start with. And
okay.
the colors, the sense, the spiritual connections, all of that layers on top for me personally.
Yes. So I've had the spirit with the colors and the taste and excuse me, and the vibrations and the knowing, but not associated so much. Certain numbers will pop up, but I don't know that language in the same manner that you guys do. But I will get like a number will have a color or a flavor to it, if that makes sense,
It
and a
does.
texture even.
One of the things that, Mom, that you've said forever is that the numbers sing and dance. And
Mhm.
they create a harmony together. And so they do have a vibration, absolutely.
Okay.
And so it's not surprising if that's the way you connect, that that's what you're receiving when you see a number. And that's, I have this book here, the Angel Numbers book. I have
Okay.
very often in sessions, people will ask me what a specific number means and or
Mhm.
a sequence of numbers. I always see 222. I always see 444, whatever it is, 1111.
Mhm.
And those are different in my mind than what we do with numerology. So I can go to the angel numbers book and tell you what that sequence means according to that information.
Right.
But in my personal experience, I think most of the time when we see numbers and sequences or we're feeling something from a number, you're getting the message exactly as you're supposed to receive it. So what the book says doesn't trump what you feel. And you're getting those are spirit guided messages, divine
Mhm.
connection, and whatever insights you're receiving is what you're meant to receive. And then when you see that number again, then you can determine if it's the same message, if it's a nod, if it's someone specific in your life that maybe has passed on that just wants you to know that they're with you. There's so many reasons that we see repetitive numbers or have a specific emotional or physical response to them.
Yeah. Um, I have recently, it had stopped for a while, but now recently, I've been getting them every day. And I just, I say aloud, family, you know, um, and then some numbers make me a little jittery. So let's take that segue into what me and your mom were talking about. How, so my family's always been able to see spirit. We never talked about it. I was born and raised Baptist, Southern Baptist at that. Um, but just never felt, oh, um, called to be in church. But, I believe that God is in everything and everyone. Um, but my family never talked about seeing spirit. So I've always been connected to spirit, but 13, almost 14 years ago, I started getting those. It had stopped for a long time, where I was consciously not connecting, and it started back again. So that's what gave me my 13 years, is because I consciously woke up and started paying attention to what was going on, like my husband's grandmother had died of melanoma, and I started getting melanoma, and we were living in the house that she passed away in. And I was like, wait a minute, I don't have these issues, right? And then other things started happening. And I never thought of myself as a psychic or a medium or anything, anything of that nature. So that's how I got to that number. Um, so can you go off of what your mom said about being how like because I hear this a lot. This is comes up a lot in conversations that I have with others. So I think that this information would be valuable. I know I'm using myself because I'm here. Um, so can you kind of go into that to help some of the viewers?
So they can understand.
I have to interrupt you here for a second, B.
Uh,
Sorry about that. Hold that thought. You told me that you were born on May 31st.
Yes, ma'am, 1973.
Okay, then I should never do numbers in my head. I gave you the wrong information. You are not in a 4 year this year or a 5 year going into next year. You are in a 9 year. You will always be in the same personal year as the universal year. So I have to backtrack on what I told you, even though it's still valid because you are in the end of a cycle. You're in the ninth year, the end of the cycle, like the whole world is. So next year is new beginnings for you. It is a
Yes.
whole brand new life, a whole brand new world. It would have been magnified some by that 5, but it's still very valid that you are going into a new reality. So I have to fix that because it drives me crazy when I do
That's
that. I get put on the spot and then my brain malfunctions.
well,
But no, you
you
are in the ninth year, the end of a way of being. And so I have to fix that before you go on and and carry on that conversation because it'll drive me crazy.
so that means that I'm going to have more endings.
You will have, we will all, the whole world will have endings. We're going to be crossing
Okay.
cycles until the end of August. So
Okay.
the number one energy, and this will all be in my
Okay.
posts from now on, they're going to be very different next year from this year. I'm kind of hijacking the conversation here, but
That's okay. We've got plenty
through
of
the
time.
end of August, we're still letting go of some of the baggage from this 9 year cycle that we're
Mhm.
ending. And so in September is when things are really going to burst open and the changes are really going to hit. So you're going personally, you're going to be doing the same thing. You're going to be letting go of the past and working into the future. And then in September, you can come busting out and say, okay, it's a whole brand new life. I'm being reborn at
Yeah.
this point. But the whole world is going to be in upheaval for this next year until we get into 2027. And even that's a whole story unto itself. Um,
Mm.
so yeah, you're going to be letting go and getting new things at the same time.
Yeah, I feel that. I can go from being in a state of joy and happiness and momentum, and then I can feel the energy tugging a little bit, going, okay, but you're kind of still in this contract here that's still a little pulling on you. And let's you still got a little bit of trajectory, to get through, in order for it to just,
Yeah, that'll be until the end of August. You have until then to let go of the baggage. And if you don't let go, like if you still carry regrets or resentment or guilt, you're going to carry that into the next 9 year cycle.
but I
So
don't,
this is the time to release.
yeah, and I have been, and it's like I wake up and I go, gosh, I get to be here during this time that we are on earth. And I am so grateful, no matter what is happening out there. Like I get to be here to experience it and to go through it and assist in my own way. Um, but yet there's that little niggle of something that
Yeah, well,
I'm
the
still
whole
working.
world is perched on the edge of a
Mhm.
cliff right
Yeah.
now. And we're going to find out if we have our wings or if we bounce. So that you're feeling that being your own personal energy. Now, I am going personally into a 6 next year. Brian is going into a 7. We're going to experience that energy differently
Okay.
than you. It's really you're in real time with it while we're doing separate individual things with all of this other energy in the background.
Okay.
So you feel everything more, um, and which is partly why you're plugged in probably as much as you are, while we're kind of doing personal soul stuff while the background is still happening
Yes,
around us.
I'm very plugged into multiple realms, but still understanding my individualization and understanding the oneness and the connection that I have to the all. And that's why I wanted to bring on this podcast and do this because I actually I started watching some of the larger channels, and they're now taking their iPads and putting them aside and starting connection podcasts as far as unscripted and talking. When I saw that, I went, there's another confirmation.
Yeah. Well, that's why a reading, especially right now or at any time, is so important. And the chart that I was talking about that Brian uses, it really brings it home individually for the person who's getting the reading. And she hears, as I have for 30 years, oh, that makes so much sense. That's why this is happening and that's happening. Oh, I'm feeling the way I am. Oh my gosh, that feels so good to know there's a reason, there's a cycle, there's a season for what
Yeah.
we're experiencing. And so that's what I've passed on to Brian, which she is now adding her own gifts to be able to take it that level up from where I have been. My
Yeah.
generation being so stifled, I tried to be free with her and let her grow and expand and be the wild child that she sometimes has been and run away and join the circus. Um,
Well, now that I know you're in
and
Florida, we have to get together.
and so she's able to tap into her own gifts and use those. But seriously, a reading is so important in helping to anchor us in who and where we are.
Yeah.
So I'll back away now so Brian can actually
That
talk.
it's okay. We all have our different flavors here. And that's what
Mhm.
this is all about is connection and, you know, adding in our own stories, our different gifts and abilities that we get to carry, you know. So yes, Miss Brianne.
Well, we do all have our own way of interpreting the energies that we work with too. And I can't do it the way that my mom does it. I mean, even though
Right.
I've learned so much from her and she's taught me all of the things I know about the numbers. I have my own personal journey, my own experiences, my own connection to source energy. And
Right.
that was one of my concerns when I was told from my friend that I need to do this. And then why one of the things I talked to my mom about when I brought this to her is, do you think I can do it? I'm not you. I don't know if I can do it the way you do it. I don't know if I can do it as well as you do it. We get in those comparative reality moments as well, where it's
Yeah.
like, shoot, how do I like you have a following that has an expectation of how this is going to come through. What if I don't live up to those expectations? So
Uh,
we always have our ego selves that are
mm,
placing things that we need to get rid of in this 9 year.
the barking
Um,
dog.
what's that?
The barking dog.
Yes, exactly. But I literally woke up with the chart that I use gifted to me. It was channeled while I slept. I woke up and I started writing it down. And
Wow.
it's because before, I mean, I know all of the meanings of the numbers and they are on a pendulum. There's the positive side of every number, and then there's the challenging side of every number. And we oftentimes, when they're in our charts, will experience the entire gamut of what it's capable of. And
Okay.
so helpful to know what's possible within these energies.
Okay.
But to explain that when you have a number over here and you have a number over there, like your heart's desire number, your life path number, that you're in a certain personal year. It's like, okay, all these numbers are flying around.
Yeah.
What do I do with them? How do I make
Yeah.
them make sense? my chart made sense.
Okay.
Made sense to me. And so then I was able to explain it. It literally is like a map. So you have your personal year, you have all of the periods of your life, which we all have three. We all
Mhm.
have four pinnacles in our life. Those are on a timeline. So as you're walking this mountain path to achieve what you came here to do from a soul level, you're having all of these opportunities and experiences along the way. And they change as we age, as we mature. The energies shift. And so it's literally putting the energies in a visual way that you can see, oh, my energy shifted as of this year. I can see based on the events that occurred, how
Mhm.
those energies were showing up in my life in the past, which can also help you then get an idea of what's possible for your future. I do not tell you your future. I'm not a
Right.
fortune teller. I will give you the information on the energies that you're going to have available to work with, but
Right.
how you choose to work with those and how they show up in your life is a very personal experience.
Mhm.
So that's how that part of the chart works. Then there's the person walking the path. And those energies come from your birth date and from your name. So the letters in your name, which is why I was able to gift my children certain energies because
Right.
I got to choose their names and I was very specific about the spellings. So my daughter's middle name is not spelled the way that it typically would be because I needed an IE instead of a Y to give her the energies that I wanted her to have access to. So that's the type of influence we can have when we understand the language. But those name numbers determine your heart's desire, how you want to, like what matters to you, what motivates you, what you want to project in the world. Then there's the inner self number, how you see yourself, how you interact with your core. And then there's the expression number, and that's how you
Mm.
show up to those around you. So you
Yeah.
might see yourself one way and show up to others completely differently. And if you don't understand that, you could be very confused. So,
Yeah.
for example, I have a seven expression. The seven is like, get away from me. I'm good. I'm
Yeah.
busy. I'm on my path. I'm learning what I need to know. Like, don't mess. The way I see myself is as a six. It's very mothering, nurturing energy. It's loving energy. So it's like, I'm like chasing people around, wondering why they don't want to get close to me. And they're like,
Yeah.
she doesn't need us. Like, stay away. She's putting off go away energy. And I'm like, how is this possible? It wasn't until I understood my numbers better that I could see what I was projecting is not the same as what I see for myself. So
I
that's
feel
important
that as well.
information.
Yeah, I feel that as well. It's like when I connect with people, I always get you have such a nurturing, motherly, like peaceful, very grounded, connected energy. And then sometimes when I walk in the room, it's like it's repulsion.
Yeah.
It's like, hold on. It's a constant like a bob and weave
Right.
motion that I do. I will find myself going, mm, mm.
So when you have your entire chart in front of you and you can see those energies at play, it's much easier for you to align with them. And so now that I know that I project a seven energy, I can just be more aware. It's
Okay.
not that I'm intending to push people away. It's sometimes I have to invite them in.
Mhm.
There's like a wall, like a level of respect. It's like people don't
Yes.
think they can just approach me. But if I invite them to approach me, then they know it's safe. You know,
Yeah.
it's an
Yes.
opportunity for me to shift how I'm sending that energy out. But I couldn't do that when I wasn't aware of it. And then
Yeah.
we have the energies of our personal years, which was your original question. So we
Yes.
have universal energies that all of us globally are working with.
Okay.
They're kind of the backdrop. And then
Okay.
we have our own personal energies that are giving us our own annual experience. And each
Hmm.
month has its own energy. And then there's the days within the months, which we talk about in our daily posts, but those are global energies. So you might be, having a response to one of the posts I put out and say, well, I don't feel like that at all today. It might be that your personal energy that day is very different. It may not be aligned, and probably not you specifically because
Right.
you have very similar energies to what's happening globally. But for some people, their numbers are not in alignment with what's happening globally. So it's like you have to have that understanding of where am
So
I versus
why,
where's the world.
so why wouldn't their numbers, why wouldn't their numbers, why are their numbers not in alignment in that manner? If is it because of like what your mom or what you did with your children? Like my daughter's name is Gabriella, but it's spelled with an E at the end, and I did it on purpose. And she
Yeah.
goes, well, everybody calls me Gabriel. And I'm like, no, it's Gabriella. And the Ella is very,
So the name
very personal.
influences us as individuals. It influences our heart's desire, our inner self, our expression numbers. But the personal years numbers are coming from your birth date. So it's a matter of understanding what the different energies are so that you can bring them into alignment. So you don't feel like you're walking off beat all the time.
Okay.
And there are moments where we do feel like we're offbeat. Even you with you sharing the same energies, it can feel so magnified. So
Yeah.
for me, maybe it's diluted a little bit because I can access the energies of the seven and the energies of the one next year. And so I can bring those together and bring them into partnership using the bridge numbers. This is why you need to have a reading because there's so much available to
Yes.
understand, and where it benefits everyone to have access to this information for them personally.
Yeah.
But for you, you have one energy. You have your personal year, which is the same as the global year. And so you're like, there's just a lot of this available. How do I handle that when I'm in the magnifying glass?
Yeah.
There are ways to do that as well, where you can say, okay, I'm going to tone this down. I'm going to take a step back. But
Yeah.
if you don't know that's what you're dealing with, it can be overwhelming.
That's why it's important to understand the year of the cycle you're in. We all go through 9-year cycles.
Hmm.
This year, I'm in the 5th year of a 9-year cycle. Brienne is in the 6th year of a 9-year cycle. You're in the 9th year of a 9-year cycle. So if you know what year you're in that 9-year cycle, that's going to be the energy that impacts you directly the most. Now, the whole world, because 2025 adds up to a 9, the whole world is in a 9. So Brian and I know that even though I'm in my energy and she's in her energy, we've got that backdrop she was talking about. That 9 means everybody is going to say goodbye to something
Yes.
this year. Parts of themselves, relationships, jobs, it's just all falling away. But
Hmm.
mine was about liberation. Personally, what fell away from me was about freeing me from old ways of being because I'm in a 5 and that's about freedom. Brienne's was about her raising her kids and schooling her kids, the 6, which is about home and family.
Yeah.
And so she had all the feels going from raising these littles by herself and trying to make ends meet. And she moved. It was all about home and family for her. And so that 9 just magnifies the heart for her. It magnified the need for freedom for me, and it magnified the need for endings and completion for you.
Yes.
Because 9 is the magnifier of all the other energies.
Yes. Yes. I started the podcast and then I had to stop for a couple months because I went and I had an NDE. Um, I was glued to the ground though. Like my feet were glued to the ground and I was pulled straight up into the white smoke. And I saw everything and then I came right back down and then my daughter took me to the hospital. I didn't see outside of my body or anything like that. It was, I was glued, my feet, it was like someone was standing on my feet and said, hold on a second, we're going to need to show you something. And then I went through went through a transition of just everything just peeling off, just falling away. And I had
So
to,
parts of you left in this 9 year, which is what that 9 does.
okay, well,
You're
wow.
not the
Well,
same person you were before that happened.
no, I'm not.
Right.
I'm very, very different now than from just a couple months ago after this happened. I was hospitalized for 7 days because of it. Um, so, and I'm very, very, very different. I'm coming back slowly, though. It's like I'm standing at a gate and I dip my toe in the gate and they go, hold on, not quite. Don't don't push the gate open until the gate is ready to be opened. Kind of fade, you know? And I've had that where I've jumped off the cliff. I'm like, I'm going, you know? Um, and then I find myself standing right back on the cliff. And I'm like, I like what? So then what will I do? I will pick up my phone and I go, what does Shey say? Like, what? So let me see if I can kind of gain a perspective or a perception of engage kind of where I'm at, within what's going on globally.
Well, it's absolutely right for you. You are actually, it's personal for you. So
Oh,
my posts are going to hit you right in the center because you're in that same energy where everyone else who's in a different year in that 9-year cycle, it kind of they have to sift through their own stuff and find what I'm writing in the background, where you're just, it's like right there in your face.
oh, it does. It just goes bloop. I mean, it is so in my face. Um, but I feel truly optimistic. I've spoken to a couple other people that are in some similar situations, and they're very optimistic about what is, and have a very light perspective about what's coming. Almost like we've been prepared for this. We've been prepared. We're ready.
Mm-hmm.
Some will say, "Oh, humanity is not ready." I say, "Oh no, 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 hold on. Let's rephrase that. You're always ready." So
Well,
I
what's
fully
happening is
understand.
this is a different conversation, but a light is coming on in the darkness and allowing us to see more. And that's all that's happening. That's the
Yeah.
raising of consciousness, is being able to
Yes.
see and have more options. And so that's what's going on, is that
Yeah.
that's what enlightenment literally means. The
Yeah.
light is coming on for us. So yeah, that's a whole different
Oh yeah.
conversation away from the numbers, but it's good stuff.
Yeah, it is. It really is. It's good to know where you are. So, um, Brianne, how do people get a hold of you and like, what is your process as far as doing readings and stuff? So our viewers kind of know what they're stepping into when they go to your website or your link that I'll get from you to post in the description for this so that they can book online and get your services. What is your process and how you start with someone? Because
So the
I
best
sit down
way,
and start with a conversation.
yeah, so the
And
best way with me is for you to go to my website, which is just divinenumbersbybrianne.com.
okay,
And I have a really easy, I think, website that you can go just to bookings. And if you scroll down even on the main page, it will take you there. So when you schedule with me, you choose the session you want. They all have a description to explain what they are.
okay,
But the, the basic one is called the Divinity Within. It's a full hour session. It covers 29 numbers in your
okay,
chart. So you get
okay,
the full picture, the full experience. It's a 1 hour recorded session. And when you schedule through the site, it gives you all of my availability. So you just choose the time in the day that works for you. And then they'll automatically take you through a form. And you give me your full name as it appears on your birth certificate, because this all goes back to the beginning,
yep,
um, as well as your married name, if you have chosen your name, or if you've made any changes to your name, you can give me that information. It asks you for all of it on the form, and
okay,
your birth date. And so I have all of that ahead of time when you schedule. And then I create the chart that's personal to you and your numbers. I will email it to you before the session.
Okay.
And then when I call you at the scheduled time, you have that already in front of you. You can refer to it, you can print it if you want, and I record the entire session so you don't have to remember everything I'm saying because an hour gives you a lot of information.
So what if people already have their charts that have been designed?
They do not have this chart.
Okay.
Even if
Gotcha.
they have done numerology forever,
Okay.
Even with me.
if they've already had a session, even with my mom,
Uh-huh.
I cover numbers in a different way. And
Okay.
I go into detail on some of the other numbers that are not as well known. So most individuals, in my experience, are very familiar with their life path number
Hmm.
and their birth date. Sometimes they know their personal year, but that's usually about as far as it goes. Unless they've had a session with someone like my mom in the past, and then they might have a chart that goes beyond that. Um, but I do challenge numbers. I do the personal months. I mean, it's really detailed. So
Okay.
it's going to be different than, and because this chart was gifted to me, I didn't get
Yeah.
it in the book. It's not
Right.
something that they can get anywhere else.
Okay.
But if someone is like, I already have that, I have different questions, I want to talk about something else. I also offer numerological coaching. So for someone who's more advanced and they're like, I want to know something different, they can reach out to me for coaching sessions and we can go in whatever direction they want.
Okay.
And then I also have my divine alignment sessions, which is what I was telling you earlier with the Reiki infused energy sessions too.
Okay. And is that also like an intuitive reading as well,
It is,
in with
yeah.
that Reiki infused alignment?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a whole different animal. And I
Mhm.
do offer
Yes,
combo
yes.
sessions if someone wants to know their chart, so they have their personal energies, but then they also want the intuitive divine alignment Reiki session. They can combine them and get a discount as well. So there's a lot of options. I do parties. I mean, it's all on my website. So that's really the
Okay.
best way. But if you have questions, when you're looking at the site, my phone number's on there. You can message me. You can send me a message in Messenger. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. Um,
Okay.
everything is under the same name. It's all Divine Numbers by Brianne.
Okay. All right. That sounds wonderful. So, would either one of you like to kind of give some insight on what globally we're in store for 2026, that may guide the viewers into easing into trying to bounce off this energy, and not ask too much. And I don't want to call it a prediction, but just some insight on global energy of next year that may ring true for someone that's watching, that may help them.
We'll start with the master and then I'll chime in.
Okay.
Yeah, my daily posts are going to switch up pretty quickly
Okay.
for this one year that we're coming into, this new cycle. They're very specific. I mean, I make them to the day, as you know, if you followed
Hmm.
me for a while.
Yes.
But they're going to change. And so just a kind of a quick overview, January is going to be quiet.
Okay.
It's going to be the limbo time. January always has a hint, a kind of a flavor of November.
Hmm.
So if you think back to November,
Hmm.
January is almost like it goes back to get some of that to finish cleaning that up. Oh,
No.
yeah. So whatever insights
This
we got
November.
this November, yeah, it was a dandy, wasn't it?
That's when I had my NDE. Yeah. Well, I've had several, but
So what that would mean for you in particular then is whatever you got out of that month,
Yes, I got a lot of
you will be able to find balance and work with that and apply it in your life. It's a time for processing.
yeah.
It's not a do-over is like Mercury retrograde. It's a time for processing what went down in November. And it's quiet. It's a quiet
Yeah.
time because it's a 2 month in 1 year. So it's going to start the year out slow. And I'll have people say, well, I thought this was supposed to be like a big bang year and all this going down. Oh, just hold your horses
Yeah.
because it's coming. But January is not it. So January is kind of in limbo. It's the deep breath before February comes. That's when things really will kick off. We're still in the snake year
Mhm.
in January till almost the middle of February.
Okay.
And so snakes don't like sudden moves. They don't like a lot surprises.
No, they don't.
But the fire horse is coming in and it is impatient. And we're going to feel it the beginning of February coming in and it is going to hit full stride pretty quickly. So February is when a lot is going to go down. A lot of what got processed in January will rise and come to life in February. So that's when the 1 year really begins to show itself. Opportunities start opening up, changes start happening. But and I'll put a lot of this in my post too about the fire horse because the fire horse is a beast unto itself. There are 5 elements in Chinese astrology, and so
Okay.
there's wood horse and a metal horse and an earth horse. But the fire horse is a whole different breed, and that has a lot of people nervous because
Well,
the
it sounds
fire
a
horse
little
is about
nerve-wracking.
revolution. What's
Yeah,
that?
it sounds a little nerve-wracking, but I've had the black horse standing in my living room. Um, and it's funny. I was moving my stuff around on a little shelf behind me that I have always had a white horse reared up, and it fell off the shelf and broke. And then the black horse was walking, I could see it, it was walking through my energy space. And I went, well, hello. I was like, are you supposed to be here yet? And it just looked at me.
Yeah. Well, this is the year of the red horse,
Okay.
and that
Well, this
adds
was a black
passion.
horse.
Yeah. So the fire horse is in 26 is the red horse, but that
Okay.
is going to be a huge influence. But going back to the numbers, that is a 3 month and a 1 year. That's explosive energy. So I'm going to shorten this.
Okay. Yep.
Things are going to get very exciting in February. There's going to be a bit of a cleanup happening in March where we can be like, whoa, let's calm down. Everybody calm down, stabilize a little bit. It's going to rise again in May.
April.
And
And April.
in April, I mean, it's going to rise in April, get my month straight. It's going to be up and down. I'm going to leave it there. And then
Okay.
when September gets here, there's going to be a lot of that's when the big shift happens and a lot of change that people are going to have a hard time wrapping their heads around in the
Yeah.
fall.
Yeah.
So it's volatile. That word will come up over and over again. It's a volatile year. And most people will say, I'm going to end with this. Most people will go straight to negativity. Oh my God, the sky is falling. We're going to die. No,
No.
no, don't go down that road. And that's why my posts are going to change. And I want people to follow them as much as possible so that they don't think that the ship is sinking and the rats
Yeah.
are jumping off. It needs to happen. So
Yeah.
that's my take on it is slow beginning for January and then up and down, and then major change in the fall.
Yeah. I channel what is called the Council of Many Paths. And they are anywhere from earth energies to cosmic um, energies and global collective energies. And then, seers and shaman. It's a collective um, of energies. And they keep saying um, to stay positive,
Mhm.
but to remember to keep that unconditional love, to keep the curtains open within the heart. And you will know where to step, where to put your feet when you're walking. Like you will, like everyone's going to know where to walk.
Well, horses are intuitive. They run intuitively. They're very plugged in. They're the cycle pumps that take souls from the land of the living to the land of the dead. They're very sure-footed. And so we need to work intuitively this year, but also remember that we're jumping frequencies. So just like changing a radio station from country and western to classical, we're going to feel the difference. Does that mean country and western is bad or good? No. It's personal preference. Does it mean classical is bad? They're just different. And
Right.
so if we can keep that perspective that we're jumping frequencies and the new frequency is not going to be like the old one. And that's why I said that we don't have the words yet
Right.
for the story that's going to unfold next year. It's a new frequency.
Yeah,
So it's exciting times, and I hope people
it
can
is.
see that.
And that one energy is an energy of new beginnings and fresh starts and learning about the self. So, the nine is unconditional love. It's the celebration. It's humanitarian. The one
Mhm.
is like, what am I learning? What am I doing? What's next? And so globally, we're dealing with that individual paths. And so it's going to be a different experience for each
Mhm.
person. Um, I mean, it always is, but there's, like I said, the backdrop has been of like depth and closure this year, but what's coming is unknown and it's new. And so my suggestion is that you start to plant the seeds, even in the beginning when it's that slower moving month, start planting those seeds quietly that you want to see nourished and growing throughout
Mhm.
this year, because what you do in this one year is going to affect the
Nine.
entire 9-year cycle. So choose
Yeah.
wisely.
Whew. Well, I hope I have been I feel like I've been sowing great seeds and starting connections, which is what we need more of on this planet, is having these one-on-one conversations, not just online, but in person in community, and holding each other's hands and knowing that, we're all going to be okay, and everything is going to work out. Um, so I will stop there. My counsel is coming through and saying you are on the right path, dear. So it's all good. Good stuff. I'm so grateful to finally get to see your faces and to meet you and to hear how you became what you're doing and your services and what you're providing. I think it's beautiful and it's lovely, and it's deep, and it's needed.
Yeah. Thank you so much for inviting us to connect and have this opportunity to chat with you.
Well, you're welcome, and I am very grateful. And I would love to have you back on again. Um, Maybe as we traverse this coming year, we can maybe collaborate and help others with my abilities and yours. And if Miss Shea would like to step in as well, because I believe that we really need to assist each other and be there for each other as we are learning ourselves. I think that having someone to speak with and have that mentorship, that leadership to help um, is going to be extremely important.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you. Appreciate your time.
Well, thank you for taking time out of your day and speaking with me and being on my podcast. I hope you guys will share this. I will be posting it later this evening, depending on the converting, or tomorrow. I will let you know. Um, and I'm just so grateful. I appreciate you guys so much for being on. Thank you again.
Thank
And
you.
I will be in touch with you about getting a session booked. I have some puzzle pieces that I could use some help with.
I think we all do.
Do. We do. And I kind of know what they are, but I believe you'd be a lot of help. And so I'll be sending a lot of people your way.
Thank you so much. Well,
All
enjoy
right.
the rest of this 9 year. Release,
Yeah.
release,
Yes, yes, yes.
release.
All right. Well, blessings to you both. And thank you again. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.